What up, what up, what up? It's your man, Mr. Controversy. Did you miss me? Radio Row, Super Bowl 57. We have some special guests. We have, first, let me, big gentleman. No respect, bro. But we got Miss Paula Reece, and we got a former NFL player, and also he was was a reporter, Mr. Beasley Reece, who played for the Giants in Tampa Bay. Am I leaving the team out?
Well, I played for Dallas.
Dallas, yep. I missed
Dallas first, then the Giants and Tampa Bay
right, okay.
over a 9-year career.
Right. Played 9 years. Honestly, I remember I was just telling him, I do remember you being an announcer. I remember you playing. When you retired and
Oh, I retired before you were born. But,
okay, I remember saying. Okay, I knew you played for the Giants. So
yeah, I did.
Maybe my father told me about it, but I knew about.
Yeah.
I remember watching you play.
It had to be your dad. Like, I went to a game at my college, and the guys were saying, "Oh man, you're the broadcaster." And
right.
They kept saying it, and then I grabbed them and said, "Hey, dude, you do know I played 9 years in the NFL."
See, that's
because this was like our football team's reunion.
Yeah.
So you had all the years together. But I thought that was funny that most people know me as a broadcaster.
That's how I knew him. But I knew you played for the Giants.
Right.
Like I said, I guess my father would tell me.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about, before we get to football, something that I think all of us can relate to. Playing in football, you know, you have injuries. You realize, okay, things are not working like they used to, as far as, or you just sore all the time, whatever it may be. But it was a particular situation where, you know, you was having problems with your knees, right? And then showing Miss Paula, she exposed you to it, and basically you brought it to attention, and I think you're the reason why you were able to help him with this. Am I saying this correctly?
No. So what happened was, I was the CEO of the NFL alumni.
Right.
So people bring us opportunities,
okay.
and so a company called Pacera Biosciences came to me and said, this can help players who have knee problems,
right,
and who are suffering with a lot of pain.
Okay.
And so obviously that got our attention. We took a look at it. And look, I signed dozens and dozens of contracts and agreements as the CEO. But I think that this one, because it helps players avoid opioid addiction with a non-opioid, non-drug solution to pain.
Right.
Pain, think about it. You know how many people who have knee problems, hip problems, back problems, neck problems? And I'm not just talking about old people now. I'm talking about, this is a serious problem, and the opioid epidemic in America is huge.
Right.
It's outrageous. So when I saw that, I signed it right away. I think it's the most significant contract that I signed during my time as the CEO, and it is helping dozens and dozens of NFL players, thousands and thousands of people who are having knee replacement, hip replacement. And the reason my wife is here is that very soon after we signed the contract, she took one of the items,
treatments. One of the treatments.
One of the treatments that Pacera offers, and I have seen these NFL players try to recover from knee surgery. It's painful. This is not knee surgery. This is knee replacement surgery. You know what happens? They amputate your leg twice during that operation. Yeah, I got your attention now.
Wow.
I got your attention now. They amputate your leg and sew it back together. So you talk about pain, these poor guys are under pain. Doctors are giving them opioids. They're becoming addicted and ruining lives. So this is a very big topic for anyone who's having pain. But what brought it home is my wife, Paula, went through the procedure, and I saw her have a very different outcome. And I'll shut up and let her tell you about that.
So after struggling with knee pain for many, many years, I decided to go ahead and have total knee replacement surgery. And that was about the time that Beasley signed the relationship with Pacera Bioscience. And one of the treatments that they have is called iovera. And it is an ice treatment that is injected into the root of the nerve, and it literally separates it. But the nerve regenerates in about 90 days. But what happens with that is that once it severs the nerve at that point, it interrupts the signal from going to your brain that you have pain. So going into the appointment, which took about 40 minutes to do, my level of pain, being bone on bone, was about an 8. I had literally stopped doing all my activities. I could hardly walk. Certainly no running, no biking, nothing. And so I went in and I had the treatment. It took about 45 minutes. And when it was done, my level of pain was probably around 1 or 2. And it just got better over the course of weeks. But the big thing is that I didn't have pain at the point of my incision, which is about 6 or 7 inches long. And that allowed me, because that signal was interrupted, that allowed me to work really hard in physical therapy, regain my range of motion in and out of physical therapy in about 5 to 6 weeks. Wow. But the big thing was they sent me home with this opioid that I was really fearful of taking, because of the addiction. And because I didn't have pain, I came off of it as soon as I could. And it's like a godsend. I highly recommend iovera. I encourage people to go to iovera.com. That's spelled IOVERA, and look it up. If you've got any kind of knee pain or whatever, I encourage you to take a look at it, because it's a fantastic product. And a lot of people have it, and they'll postpone surgery because they get such instant relief from it.
Wow. And I can understand, especially, this is your wife dealing with this.
Dude, it was on. Because I saw what these guys were going through.
Right.
They would call us, they're in pain, and then they have opioid problems. I was at an alumni event yesterday and having a conversation with people about pain management, and within my eyesight, I could see 2 players that I know we had to help them get off opioid addictions. 2 players, just in a conversation. You look at it, oh, there's him and there's him, and it's running rampant through America. People being addicted to opioids, right. And it's a powerful addiction. We're not talking about trying to stop smoking weed. We talk about something that grabs you and destroys your life. People are stealing, trying to get and lying and trying to figure out sneaky ways to get their hands on oxy this and codeine that. And so it's terrible. But there is a option, and that's the reason we're here, is we want people to know about it. And they need to go to iovera.com and just read up on it, educate yourselves, IOVERA. And if you have knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, whatever it is, they have a treatment option that can help you out.
That's something. So when you played, I want to know, because we usually don't get a chance to have the player's wife on the air. So when he played, he came home. I don't know. I'm guessing either he was tired, sore, or what have you. But what was it? You say you weren't?
I know what you're talking about. You're talking about these guys that can't get up the next day, right, and all that. Man, some people are not supposed to be playing football. I am a football player. I got up, we had fun, we did what we did, and, but I'll let her answer. You ask her. Let me shut up. You ask her. Because I could be lying, and I might not remember. So
that's fine.
Go ahead, Paula.
So I would just ask you, was it difficult knowing that, okay, he's playing football during this time, he's sore. Let's say if they lost and he's upset. I don't know. I'm just, like I said, I'm guessing. He's upset. He brought it home, whatever. Was it difficult during that year? Because we always think about the athletes, but just thinking about the athlete's wife. Like, how was it being a professional football, no, NFL football player's wife, dealing with, him coming home, him being gone? Like, how was that?
When I think back to that time, I have fond memories of it. Football players, they're only gone overnight unless it's a coast-to-coast game. So it was only gone overnight. And when, let's say they lost a game or whatever, now a lot of people don't know, but Beasley's a very accomplished pianist. So after a game, he would come home and for hours he would just play the piano. And that, I guess, brought him, peace or whatever. So, and then after that, like, he was good to go. But, yeah, to just kind of unwind, from the game, he always came home and played the piano. So, yeah.
Yeah, see, you thought I came home starting some trouble.
What?
Did you?
Well,
I came home and played some gospel music or some fun music or some Stevie Wonder or I just worked it out.
Look, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get you in trouble.
You trying to get me in trouble.
Right. That's why, because I was just wondering, I'll just say this. I know playing basketball somewhere or
right.
We used to play, I was in this flag football league. So I would play flag football, and I wasn't married at the time, but playing flag football, I was in a relationship. And I just remember we lost, and it just wasn't that type of day. And she comes over and she's talking, and sometimes I might be irritable.
Still amped up.
Yeah, irritable, and hey, what's
and she said something. As soon as you walked in, she said something like, "Oh, y'all lost again, didn't you?"
Right. And you see, right. So that's why. But I had to ask a question
you had
that
to
way.
catch yourself.
Yeah, and I didn't want to ask that question that way to get you in trouble
Right.
and then myself. So that's why.
No, I just didn't. Like I said, some guys. Look, this guy's doing all kind of stuff to be able to play that tough game.
Yeah.
So I just wasn't that guy. I couldn't wait to get back home and sit on the piano, relax, have a good time. Couldn't wait to get started. Couldn't wait to go to practice the next day. But I just didn't have that experience where you couldn't get out of the bed and all of that. Like I said, I'm not bragging. I'm not talking trash. But not everybody's supposed to be playing football. And I'm a football player.
Yeah, I like I said, man, it's interesting. And honestly, you were the first broadcaster that I remember that I was like you and Irv Cross, and that I was like,
sure.
Oh man,
wow,
like,
look at you.
Look at us.
You
like,
pulling an Irv Cross name out. Wow.
Oh,
you
yeah,
have
man.
some history.
Of course,
know your game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, look, football. I can remember football as far as I can remember.
Wow.
But they were telling me, my father would take me to my grandparents' house.
Right.
Since I was maybe 2 months, because he lived next door at the time. Every Monday night, and they would watch Monday Night Football. So as soon as I came about, and I can remember, that's all I knew.
Wow.
That's all I loved. So I know all of these names and know these people.
Okay, much respect.
But that's why I was asking.
Respect.
So watching the game now and seeing how they're protected, which is great, and you have a window. But if you think about it, some people say, if you know how to tackle, you can tackle them in that little space. But at the same time, it's a small window.
Yeah, it is a small window.
Do you think it would have been difficult if you had to play in that type of?
I would have adjusted just like everybody else, but my game was trying to have the big hit. And back when I played, you hit somebody, dramatically where the fans go, woo! You might get a TV.
Right.
You might get a check. You might get a prize, but all that's illegal now, boy. You get in trouble if those teams give you something for a big hit.
Right.
But we all, and really, Monday was the day. People think Sunday's the day. Boy, after a game on Monday, or if you play on Monday Night Football on Tuesday. But when you go back through the game film with the fellas, boy, that's when the fun is. Right. If you had an interception or you had a big hit, you couldn't wait for the fellas to go, whoa, you know, in the meeting.
Right.
In the meeting.
Right.
Now, conversely, if you got run over or you got embarrassed, you know, you're like, oh, my God, here comes the play. Oh, Jesus, no.
Right.
So it was just, you know, it was just a wonderful time in my life. You want to talk about fun, man. These are memories. As I walk through Radio Row and see different guys, I'm like, I got him. that limp, that's my limp. I gave him that limp. He ain't just limping. I got him.
Oh,
and
man.
they looking at me, so I ran over Beasley. It's just fun. It's so much fun.
So, Miss Paula, watching him on TV or watching the game at the game, were you always like in prayer mode, or were you the wife that get him, hit him? How was it?
I said my little prayer before each game, and then once, kickoff, I was in the game. That was it. But, yeah, I was pretty vocal. I know the game.
Vocal? I'm trying to hold my lips so I don't talk. Let me tell you something. You can go to Philadelphia and ask somebody about, get him! Get him! I put that in my sportscast. Like when I did Friday night football games and the kid broke loose, I would say, and my wife used to say, get it! You could hear her all over the stadium. From my games to my kids' games, screaming. This one right here can cut through the ice with her voice. It was unbelievable the way she would get into the game.
Oh, man.
I love football. I grew up in Texas. Football is big.
Right, yeah.
I had an uncle that was 2 years older than me, and he was the star running back on the team. My sister was a cheerleader, and I was captain of our dance squad. So Friday night football, that was, like Friday Night Lights. That was a part of my life, and I love football. So I cheered for him and then cheered for our two sons, and, yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, because I'm from Chicago, and they watch the Bears is big in Chicago, so they watch football. They, some know football. Some women, they know football. They watch it. But when I moved to Georgia, I live in Atlanta now.
Okay.
I moved at 16, and college football, I never seen. I mean, you talking about older women that's in their 80s wearing Georgia Bulldogs. You say something about Florida, they'll cuss you out for real, and I couldn't believe it. Like.
Yeah.
So it's just so I can understand how it is in Texas, like I said, because in Georgia, and it's not necessarily NFL, but in Georgia it's college.
Yeah.
So SEC, and then it's a melting pot. So you got a lot of people from Alabama that live there.
Oh yeah.
Florida, Arkansas. So to hear them talk about the game, and I mean, talk about the player, he just got on my nerves at time when he didn't run him over. He stepped out of bounds. I'm looking like, it shocked me. So I can understand being from Texas, whatever.
Buddy.
So did you retire? I hear a lot of athletes' wives say this. Because some athletes, I don't know if you cooked or whatever, they say, when they were in the game, whether it's football, basketball, we made sure they had a pregame meal, they had this and had that. But when he retired, I retired.
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really think anything about that changed. Plus, at the time, we had small kids, so still had to be about my business.
Busy.
Right.
Because when I retired, I was probably, 31, something like that.
Yes.
And so my kids were newborn. One of them was born when I was with my last team.
Tampa.
And the other one was born when I was with the Giants, and he was probably 3 or 4 or 5 years old, something like that.
They were like, let me see, when you retired, Blake was 8 months old, so Brent was 6.
Yeah, so it was 6 and 8 months. So we just, we were busy, we had fun, made the transition, went into your business, journalism, and was a sports broadcaster for 34 years. and several different states, networks. I called NFL games.
Yeah.
I called the Olympics in Barcelona.
Yep, I remember that.
And
Yeah,
the
I know,
Olympics in
I know.
Atlanta.
Yep.
I called the Olympics in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So, I just had an incredible run. I have no complaints. You can't hear nothing out of me other than I can't believe that God blessed me to have all of these wonderful opportunities. And, I got a whole bunch of buddies that's divorced and, all kind of trouble. And Paula and I have been married 45 years. And it's just, I just feel blessed and thankful.
So who do you have in this Super Bowl? Of course, this will be a great game to cover, to be a part of, knowing it, of course, historically, first time you have two black quarterbacks starting, and they're great. They're two of the best.
Love them.
Two of the best.
Love them both. Yeah. Man. Well, so because of my journalism career, I've got ties with both teams. I was in Philly for 19 years as a sports director for CBS. Andy Reid, the head coach of Kansas City, was the coach of the Eagles when I was hosting his coaches show. So I love Andy and his family, and I love the Eagles. And but if you forced me to make a pick, I would say that Philadelphia was the best team all year. They had the best record all year.
Right.
Their quarterback is the healthiest. Patrick Mahomes, if he's healthy, he can be a difference maker by himself. But a high ankle sprain is difficult.
Yeah.
So if I had to pick, I'd pick the Eagles. But whoever wins, I'm going to be happy with the champion because I have history with both teams.
Right, and I didn't with all the storylines, I didn't even think about Andy Reid going against the Eagles. I don't know why. I don't know how.
Yeah, he's going against his own. He was there for 14 years.
Right, yeah.
And that's a long time for an NFL head coach.
Because, you got the brothers playing against each other. You got the two black quarterbacks.
Yeah,
I mean,
great stories. Great stories.
Storylines, and I didn't even think about that.
Well, the historical perspective of the two black quarterbacks, it's more meaningful to guys my age who were not allowed to play in the middle of the football field.
Right.
Couldn't play quarterback, couldn't play center, couldn't play middle linebacker, couldn't play free safety because those are the positions where you make changes. Right. You stand in the middle of the field, you change the play, change the defense. Black athletes weren't given the respect to be able to make those changes.
Right.
So to see two black quarterbacks in this game is momentous. It is monumental for me and guys who went through that.
Yep.
Now, y'all have seen black quarterbacks for 10, 15 years.
But I do remember you had Randall Cunningham and the other one, Warren Moon.
Yeah.
But you said vice versa, but I remember it was just two.
Yeah.
That's when I grew up in that era, so.
Yep.
Yeah, and to look at it now.
And like Warren Moon had to go to Canada.
To play first, yeah.
To prove himself in Canada before he came down here and then, lit everybody up.
Shout out to Unc, he let me call him Unc, so shout out to Unc.
Cool.
But
cool.
Yeah, man. So we're gonna end it like that, with that. And it was a pleasure talking to you all.
Real pleasure.
And
I forgot we were doing the interview.
Right, I know, right?
I thought we were just sitting there talking trash.
Again.
Hey, man, you're good.
Thank you, man.
You're good to relax us like that. Awesome job.
Appreciate it. And again, where do they need to find this information?
I'll tell them. Go to iovera.com. That's iovera. Got to check it out.
We definitely will. All right, y'all. We'll holler at y'all.